goodness. Big move Monday. Look out. A way to end the tournament.
So what's happening, people? Welcome back to the Quad Pod, sponsored by Poseidon Strength and Adidas Wrestling. Make sure you use our discount codes at checkout when you visit our awesome sponsors. All of that info is down below the video. As always, it's great to be joined by Robbie, Austin, and Kevin. I'm Holmes. We appreciate you joining for episode 28. This is the Warwick Dunn episode. As a Florida State and Falcons fan, I will forever be a Warwick Dunn fan. Actually talked to him twice via Twitter, where I said, if I find your jersey, your college jersey, can I send it to you and will you sign it? And he actually responded and said, I definitely would. But Warwick Dunn, an awesome human being, not just because he responded, but because he builds houses for people in need and just gives them away. And he's been doing it for so damn long. And he's such an incredible human being. So not only is he my favorite running back of all time, he is certainly, one of the best humans in the world. So great guy. So this is the Warwick Dunn episode, which means we're probably going to bring it and you're going to enjoy even more of our nonsense. But obviously
and we're gonna be really fast.
And it's going to be really fast because he was extremely fast as well.
I'm used to that.
Before we get to any of the action, it is time to weigh in, and my shout out is going to be another Homer shout out. And I know I've given them a couple of times to my alma mater, but I will be doing that again today because last week I was invited by Pankale Chander, the assistant wrestling coach at Wilkes, to speak to his sports management 102 class. So I did a Zoom call with them last week to talk about my career, but also just like give insight on what it's like to be in the sports industry, how it changes, give some advice, answer some of their questions. Lots of really awesome students. So shout out to them. Part of their assignment also was to do like a reflection and send an email of a reflection of the conversation. So a lot of kind words from them. It's always awesome when I can make an impact for my university, even on a small scale for just one class. So shout out to them. They have I know this is more of the recap show, but they have the Wilkes Invitational coming up this week, as well as the first Wilkes Women's Invitational. So shout out to both the men's and women's team, especially the women's team coached by Casey Kruchek, Easton grad. They had their first win last week. It was 44-5 over Misericordia. And I know that they also went, I think, to the ESU Open last week as well, too, to kick off the inaugural season for the Wilkes women's wrestling team. So shout out to my alma mater. Much love to them, as always. Appreciate Pankale inviting me to come and speak to his class. Austin, on to you.
I'll give a shout out, a couple of firsts here. First is Campbell's new head coach, TJ Dudley, got his first win as head coach this weekend. So congrats to him and the Campbell Fighting Camels. Two other firsts I have come. I know, pretty cool, right? And then I also have two firsts in coming from Bucknell. They had a tough match with Virginia Tech. Two first collegiate career wins that were upsets. Tyler Benes at 184. He knocked off a ranked Jaden Bullock. And then Lucas Lawler at heavyweight knocked off Jimmy Mullen at heavyweight. His first career college match. He's a true freshman coming in. So bright future ahead for Lucas Lawler. Tyler Benes is a sophomore, but it's his first duel as he kind of couldn't make the team last year. So I got weigh-ins for a bunch of firsts that happened this weekend and hopefully many more to come after this.
Nice. Was not expecting Kevin to keep a straight face.
I didn't. I turned my head down.
It's Benes with a B.
The will is not very strong when it comes to Kevin and a vulgar joke. So
it's even like the same letter, just with an extra loop.
Yeah,
it's close.
It's very close. It's very close. Robbie, on to you.
So we have some good news today. That Slippery Rock is bringing back their wrestling program after being shut down several years ago when a lot of the programs got shuttered. So my first call was to reach out to Jim Harshaw. Lucky to call Jim a friend. Known him the entire time I've been in Charlottesville. It's All-American at UVA, his name's on the wrestling room now, along with Steve Garland's name. And he was actually the head coach at Slippery Rock when the program was discontinued. So good conversation with him about, this strong group of supporters they've had within the program that have really been fighting to get the program back since it was closed down. He really spoke to the resilience of this group and how they kind of outlasted a president who was not wanting the sport to come back, and an AD who didn't want the sport to come back, and now they have a supportive president and supportive AD, and now the wrestling is coming back, so they will be going D2, and I think it's great to see. I mean, it's always great to see a program added. I think it's I don't know, it feels a little different and really good that we're getting a program back. I think that's not something that we see a lot, and it speaks volumes to the people involved. But I mean, it makes me feel really good that we're getting a program back that was, has such a great history like Slippery Rock does.
Was he part of the group that was pushing for it to come back too, or was that just like some other people?
He was involved in it as well, and he said, we talked a lot about Mike Moyer and the role that then WCA has played, and the impact, just like Mike talked about with us, the impact of cutting a program, how much of a bigger impact it has than just on the team itself, but generations of wrestlers and coaches, and kind of spoke to that and the importance of having these opportunities. So
nice. Hopefully he's able to be a part of the program now that it's back and play a big role, whether it is, back in the coaching chair or, part of some sort of administrative oversight for the wrestling team.
I think that would be more likely. I don't know that Allie would let him get back in the coaching corner.
Yeah, it's a lot, especially these days. It's a lot on these guys to rarely have breaks and everything else. So, but no, hopefully they do have a strong voice and obviously a very strong support system, either led by or in part with him being a part of it. So that's really awesome. I'm glad that you were able to have a conversation with him about that and share some of his insight. So it's really cool to have Slippery Rock coming back and see that they were able to outlast the people that didn't want things to go the way that we all appreciate they've gone. Kevin, on to you.
Hey, speaking of Slippery Rocks, shout out to Ben Watson. He wrestled at Slippery Rock, formerly the Inside Trip podcast with Brando. So was just texting him, being like, "Dude, you were like at Slippery Rock, right?" And then he showed me a picture of his leg with a tattoo on it. It says Slippery Rock, if you were wondering. Could have been lots of things.
It's a Care Bear, oddly enough.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know why you're sharing that with me, but I guess Care Bears do share. The Care Bears share. I didn't go to Slippery Rock, but here's this. Shout outs. Jeremiah Tobias going back to Alma College. Shout out to them. I'm rocking the shirt right now. He was the head coach there a couple years ago. Went and was doing his own program thing for a while, but he's back with the program, so I wanted to give him a shout out. 4-time state champ from Manchester here in Michigan, and then I believe still is the all-time pins leader at Michigan, despite never really being in the starting lineup. The guy was an absolute wrecker, and he was just stuck behind like Ryan Bertine and Ryan Chirella and Josh Chirella and
who?
Jeremiah. Yeah, right. Exactly. So shout out to him. Absolute beast. Also, shout out to Ralph Nyberg. I was in Ann Arbor over the weekend. Quad Hour podcast. He gave me this cool hat, so wanted to make sure I shouted him out. Good guy. Shout out Adidas Wrestling, man. I've been partners with them for years now. I got my Adidas in the background. Was wearing some at practice today. Use that promo code, guys. QP25. Get 25% off. It's a huge discount. Enjoy it. This is the time of year to be stocking up on some new shoes. Anyway. And we were talking firsts. I wanted to write this down. There was a lot of firsts this weekend in Ann Arbor at Cliff Keen Arena. A lot of new faces in the lineup, some transfers, some not, and a lot of guys getting their first wins on the season. So it was pretty cool to watch that and be there on the mic. And always a great time in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, and you got some pretty awesome interviews as well that are on our channel right now. So make sure you guys go check those out. But Kevin, before we move on to some other things, how was everything? How did everything go with calling that match and And how were things in Cliff Keen?
It was really good. I always love going to Cliff Keen. I mean, it's they kind of split the duels up a lot now. Some of them are in Chrysler and some of them are in Cliff Keen. Cliff Keen's a much more intimate area, but it's like where I was going as a kid. It's like it's a really nice setup. You know, it's pretty steep stairs, but like you can pack a lot of people into a small area, which makes it like a really intense place for like a rivalry duel. But it was really good. It was one of those things too where it's like, you know, VMI is coming up. I talked to Coach Jim Gibson. He was saying, you know, hey, I just really want our guys to go out there and get after it. You're wrestling a Big Ten school on the road. Like, this is where you're going to start your season out, kind of getting punched in the mouth. And I want to see how they're going to respond, and I want to see how they're going to approach these matches. And to their credit, man, they were really, really stingy. I mean, you might not know it by looking at scoreboards, but if you watch the match, none of the takedowns were easy. None of them were given up without, you know, some level of fight. Every one of those guys really went hard to try to finish. I mean, they're trying to throw headlocks. They're trying to throw some big stuff because, you know what? Why not? Right? They're on the road in Ann Arbor and they're trying to get after it and make something happen. So it was cool to watch. But it was funny talking to Sean Bourmet afterwards. And I'm going to try to say this the best way I can. The thing that I think he was most happy with was really just the approach of all the wrestlers. Everyone went out there to score points. Everyone out there to be aggressive. Everyone out there to win every single position they were in. It wasn't just kind of pushing people out of bounds. It wasn't just looking for turns. It was everybody consistently trying to score points the whole time. And that's what he's been preaching on every video I've seen of him. So that must have been exciting. Did you know that there's this thing at the collegiate duels coming up where I don't know if it's the team that gets the fastest takedown or if it's the person that gets the fastest takedown, but you get like 10 grand.
I think it's a $20,000 bonus.
$20,000.
There's a lot of incentives at national duels.
Yeah, and I don't mean to skip ahead, but like I didn't know that, and so basically I was talking to like Diego Sotelo, and he was like, "Yeah, that's why I got the takedown in 5 seconds. Like I figured I might as well start now," and I was like, "That's awesome." So, yeah. A lot of firsts for those guys. It was a fun duel to call. Shout out to Aman Galaga as well. He was on the call with me, so great times.
Sotelo is supposed to be a smart kid. He came from Harvard. He doesn't know that's not till next weekend.
Hey, practice makes perfect, you know.
I mean, yeah, he's aware. That's why repetition. You ever heard of studying, Robbie? It's like practicing before the thing.
No.
Yeah, me neither. I've heard of it recently. Sounds great.
Yeah. No,
it sounds awful, actually.
Yeah.
Not at all. Not at all. No, that's awesome. And like I said, I love the interviews that you got. If you haven't watched any of those, go check them out. They're on our channel. So yeah, just look like a very intense format even after the win, but as expected, that's the default setting.
One more thing that I thought I really appreciated. First of all, the Mantanonas continue to be some of my favorite people on the planet. They're just they wrestle fun, they attack, they're fun to talk to, like just nothing but great stuff. But one of the things that the pieces of information I got is that they bleed a lot during practice. There's just blood all over the place, like bloody noses. And so I asked him about it in the interview, and they were like, yeah, you know, it's crazy. I guess if you're not bleeding, you're not working, you know? It's but I was saying on the call, I was like, yeah, my son gets him too, and he's tall and lanky. It's just the air up there is really it's really thin air.
That's
must
kind of how
be
it
why they're
works.
bleeding.
That
I think
is how it
so.
works.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, good time.
Yeah, those guys are entertaining. I know that's what, like the second time that you've interviewed those guys as of late. So keep the Michigan content coming. We obviously love it. Before we get into some of these topics, a little bit of housekeeping. So as of late, as of the last 2 weeks, we've been posting 2 shows a week. We're going to continue to do that. However, it's going to come on Tuesday and Thursday instead of Tuesday and Friday. Just because I feel like people are already ready for their wrestling by the time Friday comes around. Plus, you're probably sitting in your office just staring at the clock, waiting for the minutes to tick away. So we will bring you the preview things on Thursday, starting this week. So that's the first thing. Second thing is talk to our contest winner via email. She did order the shoes for her son, who won his first college tournament last week. I do not know what his name is. I do not know what the college tournament was, but shout out to her son, to Laura's son, who won that college tournament. Hopefully she'll get back to me via email. We'll give him another shout out by name next week. But yeah, she has ordered the shoes. We'll feature them, whoever wrestles in them, when they arrive at their house. So glad that that is happening. We will have another shoe giveaway. I know we talked about doing it for collegiate duels. Maybe we'll do it for something a little bit later. I think maybe
CKLV.
Yeah, maybe something individual, right? I think that'll be a little bit better. So there will be something that will be coming, and I know we already talked to what is it, Wrestle Madness, with doing that contest as well. So it will be on a proper platform, not just sending us emails and things or DMs or stuff like that. The last thing I will say is really appreciate the engagement last week, specifically from a person named Smith the Myth on YouTube. Shout out to you. Who chimes in on everything. Love that you disagree with us. Love that you do agree with us. I know you gave a little bit of debate me, bro energy. We're not going to really debate on things on this show, at least.
LeBron's trash, though.
You can go debate Willie if you really feel like it. I know Willie likes to yell at people and tell them that they're stupid. So you have at it over there. But no, we love you over here. We love the disagreements. We love your takes. We love everybody's takes, honestly, even the kind words that you guys give us too. So awesome. Hopefully you guys keep that stuff coming. As I said, Tuesday, Thursday is where the shows will happen. This Thursday show will be a preview of national duels. We will talk about some of the matchups, either dual meet or individual. But right now we're going to get into some recap stuff, and we're going to keep it going with the Michigan man. I know that Claunch was not able to be at the Michigan State Open this year, unfortunately, but I'm sure he was paying attention to it. So Claunch, going to come right back to you. What were your thoughts on Michigan State Open? Were there any matches that stuck out to you, any results or anything else like that? Take it away with the Sergio Lemley 141 talk.
149.
49. Sorry. Yeah.
One, actually. Yeah. So I always feel a lot of times because that's where I would go stand if I was there, unless there's like a big matchup that's going on that I need to be aware of and paying attention. So, but yeah, Sergio Lemley went out there and he got it done. Wrestled really well. Again, up a weight class, kind of getting, I think, settled in. I'm not sure what he's going to be doing all year. If he's going to be just kind of hanging out at 149, if he's going to be dropping down at all. He's been at 141 his whole career. He definitely looks like he can handle the weight at 149. So, very positive things from him. We did have two Central Michigan guys at the final at 141, which is exciting for me, Kellen Auer, and then I am blanking on the other guy, but Auer won. He was kind of in and out of the starting lineup last year, so he's kind of the main guy I was watching out for there. It was nice to see a couple Michigan State guys make the finals. I don't believe they had any champions, but it's been one of those things with that program where they had a couple guys transfer out and become All-Americans for other schools, and you know, it's just the state of Michigan is better when that program is doing well. So I'm happy to see a couple of their guys coming back. They've got another Venati at 184.
Does he have a good mustache?
Looks pretty solid. No, not anywhere near his brother Ben. No, not any close. But no, it was good. It was really good. I was happy to see. I mean, that's what it was. Jimmy Nugent knocked off second-seeded Sam Cartella of Northwestern. That's what we saw at 141 pounds. Nice win for Jimmy Nugent. Cartella was an NCAA qualifier last year. Jimmy Neutron. It's Ted's son. Most people don't know that. And that's what it was. Grand Valley State, Carter Blau, wrestling his butt off. Blau went on to win the tournament at the highest level there. So he had to go through David Zuba of Arizona State, and then eventually Max Venadia as well. But yeah, it's really cool to see a D2 guy from Grand Valley go into the MSU Open and win the top level of that. I mean, that guy's showing up. And shout out to RJ Boudreau, who I also interviewed for us here at the Quad Pod. Go check that out on our feed as well for getting a big result like that happening. That was pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, the Michigan State Open, I feel like most tournaments these days, you don't get as much as you used to. You know, like I'm looking at results and I'm like, man, like this, you used to really be able to see some stuff when it came to the Michigan State Open. Mark Hall, I can remember that was the first time. I think I mentioned that before.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Hall was in like one of the first times that I'd ever gone, and he was wrestling, I think, unattached back then. I think this was actually prior to him getting his red shirt pulled, right? It was like it was still early in the season.
Yeah,
it was late season.
Yeah,
we didn't get it
so
pulled until the Iowa duel.
Yeah. So had first chance to see him, and it was cool for him to be back home in Michigan and everything else where he's from. I know he wrestled in Minnesota when he was in high school, but he's originally from Michigan. So for him, that was really cool. I remember him mentioning that in the interview when we talked. But yeah, I just feel like a lot of these tournaments just, they're not sending the guys, and they're not guys are, I don't know if they're protected or what it is these days, or just like a lot of, I mean, we talk about, MJ versus LeBron, and, the big topic was MJ talking about load management in the interview that he did recently. And it's like, is load management like now a thing in wrestling where we're just not seeing guys hit the mats in early season tournaments, and they're really picking and choosing where they go?
Jordan
I
would
think
have
we
gone.
definitely see that. That's why match counts are so low when you look at like historical records in the last decade. But I mean, on the flip side of that, shout out to Minnesota, because they came out for the Southeast Open last week and had their full starting lineup, or most of their starting lineup, and then they sent most of their starting lineup up to the Bison Open in North Dakota State last weekend. So they're getting matches. I mean, a lot of those guys are already at 10 matches. So that's pretty awesome.
I feel like,
and they're going national duels.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I feel like if I was competing like nowadays, I'd want to, I guess, front load my season. Right? I'd want to really like have a ton of matches before, let's call it New Year's, because things really slow down. You can pick and choose with dual meets, and that's where your freshmen can get their 5 dates in, and you can move some things around. So I'm hitting opens. I'm going to all the different places that I can possibly go to and get some early season matches in to really kind of test things out, and then get back into the lab and prepare for conferences, right? Big Tens, ACCs, whatever it is, and be a little bit fresher in the latter half of the season, because a lot of the guys that we're not seeing, and I understand teams like Cornell, right, where it's a different situation with Cornell, where those guys are just essentially trying not to graduate. They have one more semester left. They don't really have a choice. So they're just trying not to graduate. But like, if you have a choice in the matter, get those matches in, right? Kick those tires a little bit early season, so that when things come back around, like, you're well rested later on in the season, instead of resting the whole first half if you don't need to, and then trying to jump into it. That's just my
And like later
take
down the
on it.
line, thinking seating strength too. Like it can play a big role when you're looking at the postseason. But I don't know. There's very different schools of thought clearly in scheduling and how teams approach it differently.
Yeah, for sure. Um, the other tournament that obviously wanted to get to was the Journeymen, was it Collegiate Classic that went on this past weekend. Austin, I know there's a bunch of EIWA teams there. How did things fare for Lehigh and anyone else you had your eye on?
Lehigh, they wrestled in Wranglemania. They had 2 duels on Saturday. So a lot of their starters, actually, I don't think any of their starters wrestled the following day on Sunday in individual pools. But back to your point about the Michigan State Open, I know Willie kind of touched on it on Bosh in the Brain this morning.
About ESU.
That, but also Journeymen did not have as many ranked guys as you typically see. There were, you would find 1 or 2 ranked guys in a weight class, and a lot of them were 15 up to like 30. Not saying that's not good. Obviously, I would love to live in that ranking, but you're used to seeing top 5, top 10 guys at this event, and I wonder how much of it has to do with national duels coming up next week. A lot of teams, they want to stay fresh. I know like Lehigh, they didn't have Crookham wrestle in those duels. Stanich is still out. Nate Taylor didn't even wrestle. I don't even know if they'll be back for national duels, but if they are, that's a hell of a first event to bring these guys back, wrestling a full 7-minute match. So maybe, talking back about Minnesota, what Robbie brought up, some of those guys have 10 matches. These guys will be wrestling 3 matches in a day next week. Some of these other teams that have 1 dual meet under their belt all season, by the time the 3rd match rolls around in a day, it might be, a bit of a stretch for them, So I think to Holmes, to your guys' point, and especially what Holmes was saying, get those matches in, so you're feeling good for national duels, and maybe you could taper off a little bit as the season progresses. But it'd be interesting to see who performs well and who maybe underperforms next week, and if there's any adjustments made moving forward into next season and the year after that, when it comes to scheduling and getting these guys matches early on.
Yeah. Who did Lehigh have go then if, they were, I guess, down some firepower when it came to this weekend at Journeyman?
At Journeyman, they had Matty Lopes wrestling unattached. He won the hammer at 133. And they had a bunch of guys that are kind of not really in the lineup there. Seamus Mack got second. Ivanitsky, he won his pool. Jared Shoppy might be a guy you see in the lineup at 184. But yeah, there's not many guys that wrestle individual lineup. But, they're
I feel like
they had a good duel against Virginia, which was pretty entertaining. And then they beat up on Duke a little bit first.
I feel like this year you've kind of hit on a little bit, but we didn't see the high end talent or like the higher ranked guys. I feel like we didn't see a lot of the starters like we normally do. Like normally we see the guys who wrestle at Wranglemania will wrestle the next day and still get, 5 matches on the weekend. But we didn't see, like, UVA didn't put any of their starters out. Duke had a couple of their starters go on Sunday, but most of them didn't go. So I feel like we saw a lot of backups getting time at Journeyman, which that's always been the case. Like it's always been a big open, but we didn't see a lot of the starters that we normally have seen.
Yeah. Anything of note from the ACC with, some guys going?
Wranglemania or Journeyman wise, nothing huge. Duke had a good weekend. Connor Barkett, Aiden Wallace had a good weekend. UVA, Kyron Butler wrestled for the first time since he had surgery, got 3rd place. But nothing in the actual Sunday tournament that was huge notes. But UVA wrestled Lehigh. That was a fantastic duel. It was a 5-5 split. Came down to bonus points. I know that Lehigh didn't have their full starting lineup, but neither did UVA. But it was really entertaining. Back and forth the whole time, kind of came down to the last couple matches. And, from my side, it was good to see UVA being competitive against a really good team. They've had a couple really tough years with injuries and not being as competitive as they have been in the past. And they have a really scrappy team this year. They have a lot of young talent. So it's nice to see them competing with a Lehigh and kind of getting back in the swing of that and getting some confidence off of that. I think that'll be really good for them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so crazy how we're not seeing early competition. And it's no matter where we turn, right? We talk Michigan State Open, we talk Journeymen with either Wranglemania duels or the individual tournament the following day. I mean, hell, it's where we saw Crookham versus Vito, right? Like we've seen these matches go down, right? And it's just like, when are we going to see these guys, right? Is it something like
Next
hopefully we
weekend.
see them at CKLV, right? Obviously, national duels is tons of money on the line. I think, that's one that people have circled right now, but it's like there's way more to a season than national duels. So it's like, where are we going to see these guys? I'm hopeful that, I don't know, it's complete wishful thinking, right? Wish in one hand, shit in the other, but I would
You
love
shouldn't
to.
shit in your hand. It's not
I
a good
mean,
idea.
that's the saying: wish in one hand, shit in the other. See which one fills up first. So,
Yeah, I still don't recommend shit in your hand.
it's
Not a
wishful
good day.
thinking to have these teams start putting out probables or something.
I'll just wish in both hands.
Yeah, like
So I mean, I
just to-
think
I was going to say,
Go ahead,
just to
Austin.
kind of add to this point, I was going through the results here, and I counted one All-American from last year, and I think it's Jackson Smith at 184 from Maryland, right? Or is it Jaron?
Yeah.
Jackson, right?
Jackson, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and he was pushed by Conway from FNM, who Conway is very,
He's
I
no
think,
slouch.
underrated.
He's scrappy.
He's really
Conway's
good. He
good,
wrestles
yeah.
hard. Yeah, he wrestled really hard, and he was kind of winning that one. But Smith kind of used some nice duck unders and slickness to get ahead of that one. But yeah, you're typically seeing 4, 5, 6 All-Americans at this event usually, and this year maybe a little down. I'm not sure if guys are kind of rethinking schedule or what, but
Well, I
it
think it's
was.
such an unknown this year with the new national duels format and with 16 of the top teams going. We're seeing a very big shift in both duels and in tournaments and people not being as involved. I mean, if you look at the front half of the season last year compared to this year with like top 10, top 20 teams dueling each other, there was a lot more last year.
Mm-hmm.
Just from like the ACC perspective, I mean, we had Stanford and Oklahoma State, and that's fantastic. But every year for the last 4 years, I've gone out of Blacksburg one of the first 2 weekends of the year because they have a top 10 team, either Cornell, Rutgers, Missouri, Ohio State the last few years. And they had Bucknell, which ended up being a good duel. And they're, I think, a sneaky good team, but they're not a top 10 program. So we're not seeing like the same, I guess, urgency to have high end duels at the beginning of the year with this big looming national duels on the horizon.
Yeah, and we even talked with Mike Moyer about it, right? Like, do we ever see a dual meet championship? How does he feel about the collegiate duels happening in Nashville, as well as national duels happening this weekend in Tulsa, this upcoming weekend in Tulsa? Like, I think we are closer to duels mattering with events like this, but it does kind of water down the kickoff of the season where you're not seeing as many as these as we were used to, right? So it certainly is different. I know we're what 2 weeks, maybe coming up on week 3 right now, so we're kind of being picky. But I think when you compare it to what it used to be with the Michigan State Open as well as Journeyman, it's like night and day right now. Claunch, you got something?
My only pushback is that like let's settle down a little bit. We're about to get a pretty awesome tournament going on next
Certainly.
weekend.
No, and that's great. But I think you see the shift in thinking because I think teams aren't sure of what to expect from this and how to manage this because it's such a different event to start the year.
And I think that's fair. I will also say I pointed out about the MSU Open a couple years ago having NATO and Connor Utzi and Stefan Micic and why can't I remember this guy's name? The West Virginia guy, Pind Gilman. Zeke Moisey, thank you. At the time, I didn't know who Zeke Moisey was or that Stefan Micic was going to be a world champion or whatever, too. Like, I like to look back on it and say, hey, that's a pretty cool, awesome final. But at the time, I was like, man, I can't believe Utzi lost to that freshman from West Virginia, Like, so sometimes hindsight is 20/20, right? So, like, let's appreciate it. We'll see kind of how things go. I'm excited, man. It's going to be an awesome thing to watch.
Certainly is. Yeah. But this weekend, I mean, Robbie, you mentioned it. We did have Oklahoma State and Stanford, and the shot that I called was that we would see D Lockett get the win as a freshman. But I mean, shit, I think we should have bet on all the freshmen this week having big wins for Oklahoma State. They showed up 3-0.
Stanford's too.
Exactly, right. Robbie, what is your takeaway of that dual meet, Oklahoma State versus Stanford?
I don't know, some good things, some not great things. I think Valencia looked great, and like we've kind of talked about, we're gonna see some weird results from him because that's kind of how he goes. Like he's got the talent to beat anybody in the country, but he's gonna have some weird flaky losses from time to time, and that's just kind of the ups and downs of Aiden Valencia. I am a little concerned. I don't know if concerned's the right word. I haven't been very impressed with what I've seen from Daniel Cardenas yet. Um, he's had 2 matches with the All-Star Classic and with this one, and he just hasn't looked to be the explosive and dangerous Daniel Cardenas that we've seen before. And I'm hoping that he kind of rounds back into shape, and this is just kind of early season jitters. But not what I was expecting from Cardenas. The same with Garvin too. Like he can be much more offensive and score a lot more points than he has in his 2 outings. And Lockett's really good, but I don't think there's anything to really write home about with that win. I mean, it's a great win for him, but I mean, from what we saw, it wasn't a very fun match. It was pretty boring, to be quite honest. And I think Stanford should have challenged that locked hands that Hidley was calling for. He should have thrown the brick, and maybe we see a little bit more aggression after that. But overall, I mean, not the best showing from Stanford. Lorenzo Norman and Nico Provo will be back for CKLV. They're both dinged up and weren't going to risk it for this duel. So, I mean, Oklahoma State wrestled really well. Crowd was awesome. Seemed like a good event. Their freshmen were really ready to go. Landon Robideau is going to be real fucking good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the like I said, I'm not taking a full victory lap on that D Lockett match, right? But I will say, like, you see a freshman win a 2-1 match over, the number 4 ranked wrestler in the country for his first match of the year of his college career, and you're like, okay, so the transition from the high school ranks to the college ranks it looks pretty good right now.
And
right?
you got to be
Those are the
impressed with
things
his
you
riding.
take away from that.
That's the biggest takeaway is that he can ride, and that's the hardest thing to adjust from high school to college, and he rode the shit out of Garvin. So
yeah, that in and of itself is the X factor, right? Of like how referees position transfers, because with how good we are in freestyle wrestling, on our feet is not an issue for really any of our guys that have been on world teams or have been in the mix in any of these freestyle matches or whatever else. And we've seen how dynamic D Lockett can be coming up to the college ranks, but like the ride is the differentiator, and to slap a good one on the number 4 ranked wrestler in the country that's something, right? So a lot to be excited about if you're an Oklahoma State fan with the way that these 3 freshmen wrestled. But then you also look and you're like, man, our transfers, Facundo looking great. Zach Ryder, a big one at the All-Star Classic, and then comes back with a 4-2 win this weekend too. So
that
and
was
then all the
not
talk about
a great win for him.
Yeah.
4-2 win over Wojciechowicz is not super impressive.
Yes.
Especially with what we saw from the All-Star Classic.
For sure. But the one I was going to mention was Cody Merrill, and how everybody was kind of up in arms about him losing a wrestle off and all this and all that. And it's like, I think he'll be okay. You're wrestling a guy that you most likely wrestle a ton of times in the room. Losing a wrestle off isn't the end all be all. So, but yeah, the Zach Ryder, you're like, where's the offense that we had already seen? Where's it going there? But you are certainly excited about the 3 freshmen that you have that showed up against a very tough team. Swiderski definitely has to figure it out. Can't have that high of a high with how he wrestled at the All-Star. And then, I mean, I understand Aiden Valencia is very good, but that is not the way that you want to make your debut in Gallagher Iba for sure.
I think Knox looked really good against Figueroa too. He's started the season really well.
The fun match.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, I was gonna say, what did you make of that match? I feel like Figueroa kind of lost the dog a little bit. Used to have kind of a chip on his shoulder, a little bit of swagger. Not seeing it as much as we used to. That was what kind of stuck out to me. Any thoughts on that match?
I mean, it looked kind of like what we normally see from Knox. He's kind of squirrely and gets in some interesting positions, but can score a lot of points. And he scores a lot of points against good opponents. So I mean, I think it was a good match overall. I don't know what to expect from Figueroa with his kind of flame out last year at NCAA's. That was our last time we saw him. So I mean, didn't leave on a very great note and doesn't seem to be coming back on the greatest note. So I'm hopeful that he's able to kind of figure out where he needs to pick things up and be the force that we've seen him be before.
Yeah, it's tough to see where Figs is at. Kind of Robbie's point. I mean, also we've been talking. It's early in the season, right? It's his first kind of shot at this new weight class for a new singlets. Maybe it was nerves, anxiety got to him, whatever. But
and Knox is All-American. He's not.
Yeah, Knox is really good, but he's also hard to wrestle. Like you said, Robbie, he gets in these funky positions, and he wrestles hard too. So like you're defending all these weird positions, unorthodox ways he's moving, and it just makes you that much tired too. So judging against Knox, not the best. Not the best bar to judge that on. So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. Any other notable performances from the weekend? Austin, I'll come to you. Anything? I know we talked about the Journeymen and everything else in Lehigh, but anything else out of the EIWA that was notable this past weekend?
Yeah, I mean, Friday I'll touch on Bucknell wrestled Virginia Tech pretty tough. I know Virginia Tech isn't what they were with Caleb Henson in the lineup. Still a really good team. Like I said, Tyler Venus had his first win. Lawler had his first win. Mulvaney had a nice upset win. That was a great showing by Bucknell, and they take on Oklahoma this weekend, which could be an interesting one. Oklahoma is going to be at Bucknell, so we'll see what happens there. And then also Friday night, Army kind of got beat up by Nebraska, which may have been expected, but looking at some of the box scores and seeing some of these matches, they were fighting pretty tough. So anytime Army goes out and wrestles, you're going to get a fight for 7 minutes. They're going to wrestle hard, do everything they can to win the match and keep it close. So yeah, I think that was pretty much it for Friday. And Saturday, Lehigh wrestled at Wranglemania pretty well. And then going through my list here, yeah, that's pretty much it there.
I was impressed with Bucknell. I mean, they're a scrappy team. They're sneaky good.
Yeah.
The Chapel Crook match was good. The Mulvaney Mac Church went to sudden victory, and that had a fun little scramble at the end. Desanto Antics was a good match. It was a solid duel, and
a lot of close ones.
The younger Virginia Tech team and some guys who haven't had dual experience. There's going to be some bumps in the road for them, but I think they're kind of coming together. Dylan Campbell's looked great again. Evan Truskin, his first duel of the year, looked good. But I mean, don't sleep on Bucknell. They've got some talent.
Yeah, I don't want to forget about Navy as well. They wrestled at Wranglemania on Saturday. They beat App State 27-13 and then lost 24-12 to Rutgers. Again, 12-point difference, but a lot of those losses were 1 point, 2 point matches that could have went either way. So they wrestled pretty tough against a tough Rutgers team. So Navy's been pretty good this year. Got to get that upset win. They lost a decently close one to Pitt, another decently close one to Rutgers. But Danny Wask majored Lenny Pinto, which I think was the big result there. Number 6 versus number 5 or number 7, like that. So Wask is having a great start to the year so far.
Kevin, anything in any Maction that you had seen, anything in the Big Ten that kind of stuck out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with the first duel of the year. I think it's important to kind of say like Bellarmine and Iowa. Like Iowa started real slow. Like that's not what you want to see if we're talking about, not starting great in Gallagher Iba. Like Masomi and Denny starting off his Gallagher or Carver Hawkeye debut at 197, like squeaking out a win at 197 against Bellarmine. Probably not what you're expecting. Followed by Ben Keeter, who pinned the guy last year for Bellarmine, and I think they said 36 seconds. Like giving up or winning a regular decision, I think it ended up being.
Yeah.
Didn't he get ridden pretty badly too?
Yeah, I think he got
Trouble
ridden
getting
the
out of
entire
bottom?
third. Yeah. So disheartening. I mean, really, until Drake Ayala, they didn't have anybody like show up to wrestle. They all got wins. They were all fine. Like Dean Peterson, sloppy. I think he ended up getting kind of a quick escapes followed by a takedown. Could have been called a reversal if it was called a little closer by a different referee. But like, that's kind of all they did. Eventually, you had Jordan Williams, who was bumped up at 157, which was pretty interesting. He ended up getting a pin. That was cool. And then so basically 157 through 84, Hawkeyes rolled. But it was very, very, it was very slow start for them. I can't imagine the coaching staff was very happy with how that looked to begin with, or the fan base for that matter. Oh, and then Ryder in Illinois. That was a fun duel. I'm glad that I had said for people to watch that. Well, hold on. Let me find the name. My apologies to
we mentioned how atrocious those Illinois singlets were, though. Good gracious.
Oh, man. That was weird. They were like, I didn't know what they were doing.
Not feeling the pain on that one?
That was my eyes were in pain. Those were awful.
What was the goal? Were they like, we're going to look like cows, but also wear a different color blue than is actually our colors, and you're not going to be able to read the words on the chest. Sounds good. Let's put them on, guys.
Also,
like the Illinois, they have good singlets to begin with.
They do have good singlets.
Their classic block eyes, fantastic.
Yeah. It is.
For the script, it looks good too.
There's lots of good options.
Yeah, that's not one of them.
No.
Yeah, let's not have apostrophes on singlets.
It's not often that you're like, man, that Ryder singlet's way better. You know,
but here's the thing: is I want to and forgive me completely. I am not a Chicago native. I'm not from Illinois. I don't know anything about the state very much outside of I have a couple of cousins that live there. Do people call it pain? I've never
heard that before.
I've never heard it shortened.
Hold on. I'm going to text. My niece is a student at Illinois. I'm going to text her right now. Has anyone ever referred to, hold on.
I don't. That was the thing for me. I automatically got it. I knew what it was in reference to, but it just
but it's stupid.
It's kind of like when NBA teams do the City Connect uniforms or whatever else, and you're like, oh, okay. Some of them are cool, but this one, they should have. It should have stayed as a graphic, gentlemen. It just should have. It should not have. No.
Is it the pain or just pain?
It was just pain.
It was
on the
pain
singlet.
with an apostrophe.
It was apostrophe lowercase p. Pain.
PAI apostrophe N.
No, it was apostrophe PAIGN. As in champagne.
See, I couldn't even read it. That's so stupid. All right, I will let you know what she
And I'm
says.
probably even spelling it wrong right now. But like,
if they would have been an Adidas school, that wouldn't have happened. Just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, I mean,
because did you see the George Mason singlets this weekend? Those were fantastic.
Those are fire.
Just saying.
Those are fire. George Mason has some pretty dope gear. I saw the post of their bags too. Some of their gear bags. They were pretty cool. But yeah, that singlet was just not. It was just not it. It was just not good.
It was a hard miss.
whatsoever.
They should just get singlets to say Short King. That's it.
Yeah.
That
would support
would
that.
hit. That
Yeah, it
would
would.
hit. They need a
Well,
Short King singlet.
I
Yeah.
mean, the crown would be necessary, but what else is it like a crown sitting on like a step stool?
Maybe.
Some telephone books, maybe. Yeah.
Or
Maybe.
like a
I like
tiny
it.
bobblehead.
Listen,
Just the head, no legs.
get a Short King singlet, and Kevin will rock it on the show.
Here's the thing. There's no bad ideas in a brainstorm. There is bad ideas when executed, right? So I think that's where we're finding the in between.
Yeah.
And for
yeah.
future reference, can no other team shorten the city name and use apostrophes for the rest of the year, please?
Yeah, it was just a bad idea. Just a bad idea.
It was a good duel, though.
Yeah, it was a good duel. And
Yeah,
yeah,
good duel.
in fact, yeah, shout out to Tyler Klinsky getting the win over Spencer Moore, who transferred in.
I missed that kid. I like Spencer.
Yeah. Well, he lost, so it's probably the singlet's
It's
fault.
true.
Probably the singlet.
Yeah. Anyway, great duel. Had fun
Great
watching
duel.
it.
The other tournament that I checked out. Oh, is there an echo right now?
Mhm.
Was.
Yeah, there was for a second. Sorry about that. Bad podcasting. Don't know where that came from.
I blame Kevin.
Yeah,
It
maybe.
was definitely me.
Probably Kevin. The other tournament that I checked out was it Cyclone Invitational, where every winner was either from Iowa State or Wisconsin. But the heavyweight match was 5-4 between Braxton Amos and
good for Braxton.
and Bastida. So that was a good match. Bastida ends up with the win, but I will say this: Bastida, first and foremost, I did not realize that both Bastida and Echemendia were 26 years old. Just putting that out there. Secondly,
26, so they're actually 32.
Yeah. Secondly, Bastida was putting up a lot of points. I understand not the top level, but like he's got matches with 22 points, 17 points, like just mowing down the field, right? So that I was like, he's out to score a lot of points. And that I like from our heavyweights. It is necessary to have heavyweights that move their feet and try and score points. But that match with him and Braxton, 5-4, I'm like, this tells me that Braxton has grown into the weight. He is a full-on heavyweight. If he's going 5-4 with a guy that's ranked number 1, currently in coming into the season, and that he's there and he's going to be able to contend. I pray he has a healthy season because I feel like All-American status is right there for him. I feel like he can be top 3, top 5 guy easily at heavyweight if he continues to have a healthy season. But that was the one match that kind of stuck out to me. Like I said, if you look up and down those brackets, it's either a guy from Wisconsin or it's a guy from Iowa State that won every single one of the brackets. So yeah, but good match at heavyweight. Hopefully we have even more of those good matches. Before we move to some freestyle and with Bill Farrell, Robbie, anything else from the ACC? I know we talked about Stanford. I know you mentioned VT and then the Bucknell match as well. Anything else that stood out in the ACC?
I mean, Pitt kind of took it to Buffalo, and Northern Colorado made a swing through North Carolina. They had NC State Friday night and UNC on Saturday and Sunday. I don't remember. Everything blends together now.
Yeah, it was a North Carolina trip for them, though.
But they won one match, or Northern Colorado won one match between the two duels, and it was a overtime win at 33 over Reading. But it was Vince Robinson's banner got raised at Reynolds, so it was a big night for them. And I mean, they looked pretty good. They didn't have their full lineup in. Trumbull didn't wrestle. Matty Singleton looked good. That was
I know he gave me 0
match
points for fantasy.
for Trumbull. That's
Trumbull
because
train had
you're
0
late.
steam.
You're late to the Trumbull train.
Yeah, he would have wrestled for Robbie.
I
Yeah,
know.
he would have wrestled if I had him in the lineup. Just saying.
I know.
And he would have had a sweet mustache.
I know. Maybe I'll trade him. Not
We could make
happening
that happen.
ever.
I've got Braxton Amos. I'll trade you.
That does sound like pretty awesome. It really does. I don't know.
I would like to have him on my team.
Maybe we'll talk. I don't know. We'll see. Might have to sweeten the pot. Trumbull is a hot commodity these days, and with being the captain of the fan club, it's kind of tough to part ways.
Overall, I mean, pretty impressed with what we saw from North Carolina State in their first outing of the year. UNC wrestled at the Southeast Open, and they looked pretty good there. Will Dunny's going to be one to watch at 165. I think he's going to be a lot better than a lot of people were expecting. But overall, I mean, they look good. The Reading Serrano match was kind of boring and came down to a sudden victory takedown. That was Reading's first match for NC State, so not the best start for him. But Ryan Jack looked good. Bisgins looked good. Arrington looks great at 57. He really grew into the weight. Singleton beat a pretty scrappy Murphy Mankey.
They love him. I saw a video, like, big ol' ovation for Maddie Singleton.
Maddie's awesome. Maddie's a good dude.
Oh, I know that. I'm just saying he is.
Yeah,
he
they
might
love
have
him
the biggest fan base now with Hidley gone. He might be like their guy.
That's probably true. I mean,
obviously Vince Robinson, NCAA champion,
yeah.
But Maddie Singleton.
They do love them some Isaac Trimble too.
They do. Maybe we just haven't had the comparison.
Maddie really plays it up too, though. So it's good. He's good with the fans.
Yeah.
UNC looked great the next day. Let's see. There was one match that I saw there that I wanted to highlight. Let me look at those results again real quick. But I was impressed with them. Like Luke Simcox, I think, is going to be really good this year. And I said that after the Open last weekend. But I think it's going to be a force at 149. Not the best, or at 41. Not the best competition there, but the 15-0 tech fall is saying something. Serrano did not wrestle Ethan Oakley. I would have liked to have seen that to see how Oakley bounced back. Ogunsanya looked good. Hefner looked good in his first match. Laird Root is also going to be one to keep an eye on at 57. He's a big recruit, and he's going to be pretty scrappy. He's going to be one to watch. He's got some real heavy hands. But nice. Impressed with what we saw. Lots of bonus points, lots of tech falls. So good weekend for the North Carolina teams.
Yeah. So we've
Duke
gone.
got a win over Hofstra.
Yeah, saw that too. So we've gone around the horn, kind of hit all our different conferences. Claunch has something else.
I have breaking news. My niece responded, LOL, I don't think so. Crying face. At least I've never heard it.
So pain, not a thing.
No one has ever referred to Champaign, Illinois as pain.
Pain, not a thing. All right.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to run singlet ideas by us before you print them, I'm happy to give input.
Yeah, we gave some input for George Mason, so
yeah, and they look good, and they don't have apostrophes anywhere, so that's good too.
This is true. This is very true. So yeah.
Also, they don't have topographic maps. This is also a fail. While we're talking about bad singlet designs, Cal Poly, if you would like to know how to read
topography,
maps,
what the fuck?
maybe we don't put a steep incline near the crotch. I don't know. Just not the greatest idea. Can we not do that, please?
Depends on who you're asking, Robbie.
This is wrestling fashion 101 in the middle of talking about what happened in our different conferences this past week. I
guess at least it's not a depression there.
We are on singlet watch. So be prepared, because if there's a shitty singlet out there, we're gonna call it out. So far we've got 2 of them.
And not a shitty singlet like Hofstra had a couple years ago. We'll also call that out. But...
It comes all the way back around.
There's the rim shot.
Oh yeah, episode 28. You guys are lucky the season is here, because now it really comes out.
Running fast and giving out houses.
To the fans that tuned in before the season started, you know of the stupidity that happens on this show. To the people that have become fans in the last couple of weeks, welcome. Hopefully you stick around for the wrestling talk, but there's apparently we're going to talk some fashion with singlets. We're going to get into some movies too. We'll have some movie quotes that do get dropped from time to time, but this is
can I
this is
mention
what you
that?
got into.
We're going to
So
crowdsource
today
too.
I was teaching about photosynthesis.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Chlorophyll, more like borophyll.
None of my kids knew the reference. I was so angry. So angry. None of them. I said more like borophyll. They all just stared at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you? No, you guys are all failing this lesson. Go watch the
No, I will not make out with you. This guy's up here talking about borophyll, and all she wants
God
to do
knows
is
what.
make out with me. Get on with the chlorophyll.
Back to the lesson.
Oh man. Yeah. And that's how this show works. You never know what's gonna happen. I will bring us back to the lesson because I do have I guess a little bit of news, and I don't know how true it is. Well, no, maybe I shouldn't say that. I do feel like I'm pretty confident that this is true. I'm hopeful that it turns out not to be true. And that is that I don't think we're going to see Cody Chittum for the rest of the year. And that is not a injury thing either. I don't know. I should say I don't know how injured he is, but I believe he's redshirting this year. That could potentially be in the works. So
he was not wearing a UTC singlet at the Southeast Open.
No, he was not, and he was still unattached there. I don't know. Again, I don't know if this was something that they had planned on doing. I don't think so. Mostly because I had, talked to Kyle and I interviewed him at Elite Eight, and he was very excited about getting these guys, specifically Chittum, who's a hometown guy from Tennessee, into the lineup. So I don't think that it was one of those things. So it honestly could be injury related, but I don't think it is fully injury related. I think that, given some changes, he's a potential redshirt for this year. So
he's gonna be 46 when he graduates.
Man, still be younger than Bastida when he graduates. So we'll certainly see. But no, I think that will be happening as well this year, which sucks because I love Cody Chittum, but I think he's gonna be not wearing a UTC singlet until next year. So yeah, I hope that turns out to be untrue, but as of right now, I believe he is redshirting. Bill Farrell. We'll go into Bill Farrell. And then we'll talk a little bit of fantasy wrestling and our lineups and things. Anything notable from Bill Farrell wrestling wise? Obviously, we know that there were things that weren't wrestling wise. If you're paying attention to the tournament and Twitter, but obviously there was still some very good wrestling that went on. Anybody that shocked you, Robbie? I'm actually gonna come to you because your man Henson did not win the tournament. So any notes or anything from the Virginia Tech crowd?
Bassett looked great. I mean, he was an outstanding wrestler of the tournament.
Yeah.
Super aggressive. Scored a lot of points. Blanked Latona 11-0.
Yeah, beat up his coach.
Latona, yeah, I know. What that? Well, technically, he's the recruiting coordinator, so he's not a coach.
Beat up the guy that got him there.
Yeah,
I know. It's crazy.
What a way to think.
I'm the recruiting coordinator now.
Henson lost a close one to Kasek, and I mean he had a good tournament. Kasek did, but nothing of note. I mean it's kind of expected him to make the finals, but he made the semis and lost a close match. So nothing huge to take away from that. Melvin Miller looked good. Latona making his freestyle return for the first time in a few years. Had a decent showing. Henson looked good. He scored a bunch of points in that third place match. That was a fun one.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a decent tournament. reminded myself that Sarong Francisco is like the largest human in the world.
Huge.
Dude is massive. It's scary, but he's like a big teddy bear.
He's super nice.
His hands are as big as my entire chest, though.
Yeah, he's enormous. Yeah, the Bo Bartlett Bo Bassett match was the one where I was like, wow, right? Like that was unexpected. You do know that Bo Bassett is the more aggressive guy, completely. More hand fighting, more coming forward, very heavy hands. Bo Bartlett, not that kind of guy. But I was surprised that it went that way, right? I was not thinking that was going to happen. I do like
Bartlett
that.
had went over him last time, right?
No, the last time
that
they
was the one.
wrestled, yeah, that was the
It
one
was
where
the
everybody
weird
was
out
like,
of bounds
"What the
point.
hell?" Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Oh,
very
yeah.
weird. But it was like a 1-point match, so that just goes to show how things have progressed in the couple of months that everything has been going on. At least that they've been training, obviously separately, but I'm sure the Virginia Tech crowd very excited about what they're seeing from Melvin Miller as well as Bo Bassett. So yeah, I think that was kind of the only performance wrestling wise that really, I guess, stuck out to me. I'm trying to look at the results to refresh my memory. You look at so many results, so many things kind of run together. But
Caleb Smith looked good.
yeah, I was gonna say any others while I'm looking this up.
I was definitely impressed with Caleb Smith. I haven't seen a lot of freestyle from him, and he looked good.
Good to see Mason Parrish back too.
Yeah, he's still big and throwing people around. That 5-point throw against, what was it, Kobe Merrill? Did they really name their kids Cody and Kobe?
Valid.
Yep.
For them. I wish I had balls
Not
like
confusing.
that. Yeah. No. Well, it's like penis and Venus. Just slightly different. But very different. Slightly different, but completely different, you know? No, that was good. Mason Parrish was great. Peyton Robb wrestling some Greco. That was pretty cool. Seeing him throw people around. I don't even know if he won the tournament or not, but I did like
think he was silver in both freestyle and Greco.
Yeah.
Was he?
Some punches too, wasn't he?
He took one.
He took
like
some,
champ.
Yeah.
Champ.
Dude almost lost his leg. You don't want to fuck with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's seen some stuff. Like,
yeah,
you're doing nothing but sending him an invite to a party he was coming to anyway when you throw punches at the man.
Yeah.
So let's be serious. That is not a good idea.
We were playing football, my buddies and I, this weekend, and one of my buddies tried to like jam me on the line as I was trying to run a route, and he caught me just in the chin or whatever. He's like, "Oh man, I'm sorry." I was like, "Oh, we're good. Like, you punched in the face before, I'll be punched in the face again. We're fine."
Yeah. Don't you threaten me with a good time.
Yeah.
Exactly what that is. But no, I mean, yeah, great tournament from him. Caleb Smith was the other one that I wanted to talk about, representing Puerto Rico, winning at 57 and and doing so like impressively, right? Like,
yeah, he looks great.
14-4 in the finals, just nothing but almost all tech falls and an 8-6 in the semis, but just impressive, scoring a ton of points, just looked really, really good. We mentioned Bo Bassett, Kasich, Will Lewin scoring points. The Peyton Robb and Will Lewin continues. He beat Peyton Robb 4-0 at 74. He has a 10-0 match in here too.
12 years.
Was that the finals?
Peyton Robb and Will Lewin was the finals.
Hey, let's go, Will Lewin. I knew that.
He beat
I just wanted you to
Andonian,
bring it up.
in the semis.
That's right. I heard that was crazy too.
Mm-hmm. That was a wild match.
The what? Kekais and Coleman match?
Yeah, that one was crazy. But the Lawan beat Andonian.
I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Marcus Coleman pinning Parker Kekais
after
match
getting
was
his ass
9-0, and he reversed him and pinned him. Just
Dang,
like
man.
on the brink, and that's a wrap.
He even inspired Parker to send out a spicy tweet.
Yeah, that. What happened?
What was it? What was the
It
tweet?
was
Well,
fight
it was a
issues.
post on Instagram of you and I mentioning why they weren't going to the Journeyman event because they had travel issues, and Parker decided to call out apparently whoever handles travel for them on Instagram.
This is a much bigger issue than their travel, though. It was because of flights being shut down. So
Yeah,
it
it
wasn't
was.
something they could handle. But
It was. So that's why I
I
wasn't
like-
sure
I
if
like
it was
seeing a little
if it
attitude
was
from
like
tech guys.
true or not, right? I wasn't sure if he was actually taking a shot or if it was just like
Seemed
is what
playful
it
to
is.
me.
Yeah, I was like, that's interesting. But yeah, the other interesting thing is that there were only 2 guys at 92. So they wrestled.
So I could have placed third. God,
yes.
You got to make the
Yes.
weight, Robbie.
I don't even know can we convert that?
There was
make
one
that.
there was one
202?
match
I
at
can make
92
that.
kilos, and it lasted 37 seconds, and it was Jacob Cardenas winning at 92.
Yeah,
He
let's
could
go,
last
Cliff
longer than
King, just
37
kicking
seconds with
ass
Jacob
all day.
Cardenas.
And
I have
then
Tyson
faith that I
Ferris,
could
Jacob
last longer than
Cardenas, and
that.
Will Lewan. I wish I'd known that. I would have.
And then
referenced that much
Jacob
Cardenas-
earlier.
Cardenas, I will wrestle you for 40 seconds.
Cardenas then moved up to 97
lets you.
and placed second.
Hey, there we go.
He also wrestled at 97 and placed second.
So you double entered like you do in a youth tournament.
Yep, losing
I'm gonna
4-2
do
in the
2
finals.
Who did he lose to?
Slavakuski.
Oh, okay.
Who is down to 97, which is crazy because he's not a small human.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I'm surprised to see him down there.
Yeah, that's got to be a rough cut for him.
So the shit that people are talking about is Austin Desanto saying some horrible bullshit. I don't know, Robbie, what did you make of it?
It's fucking stupid and completely unnecessary. Medlin brought it up, and we all saw kind of the outburst and him pointing and yelling at the Illinois corner after the match. But Medlin pointed out that he said he was saying that he wasn't American and that was the issue, and that his behaviors have been enabled because he's never been held accountable for them. Effectively, is what Medlin said, and I think that's pretty damn accurate. I mean, we've seen years and years of Desanto doing just dumb shit, and there haven't been any repercussions for it. I mean, you put Miocic in a Kimura, and what happened? Nothing. So we're seeing more of the same.
Yeah, it's just trash. It really is, and I like that Medlin brought attention to it and mentioned that it continues to be an issue and that there's no accountability and that no one, even if people are going to use any sort of excuse about or try to use an excuse about being on the spectrum or anything else like that, there's still accountability. You still teach them. And I mean, Robbie, I'm not going to speak to that at all. That is completely your lane. But from, talking with you, you're like, it changes some things, but you can't continue to use that as an excuse.
No. I mean, my oldest is on the spectrum, and he very well understands that there's repercussions for your actions, and that you can't use that as a crutch to just act like and do whatever you want. That's not how it works.
It's not.
Sorry. No, you can't do that. That's not the way life works.
I totally agree. And I don't know. I think the only point I was going to make on it was just like, who's letting him get away with this? What is it helping? What is it helping? I mean, is it a reference to the coaching staff that he's working with in Iowa? Is it a reference? Because like I've literally never.
Is that?
No, and I'm not
what you're
questioning what Medlin is saying as correct, because there have been repeat instances of Desanto being a jerk. I'll put it that way. Different 4-letter word.
Mine's
And
more fun.
it is in a variety of ways. But no, it's I don't know. I've literally never come on any of the shows and been like, man, we should give Desanto a break. It's usually like, dude, what again? Like, stop. I joked about it last week about and in the process of giving him praise for jumping in, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, but jumping into RAF last minute and being ready to wrestle, like, oh, who's more ready to wrestle? Who doesn't have any hobbies or a life outside of wrestling? And it's like, maybe you should have one. Maybe expand your horizons and have somebody actually say, like, that's kind of some bullshit. Maybe you don't do that. Because it is. It's quite frankly really terrible thing to do. I don't even know what his point was. I think it's probably pretty easy to pick holes in it if he was trying to have an actual real conversation about what the hell he was trying to say. So, yeah, maybe you don't just spout off at the mouth all the time and make people think that you're a deranged psychopath, because that's what you've been doing consistently for the last several years. Probably doesn't listen to this shit anyway, so it doesn't matter at all. But like, I've never heard anybody in the media be like, let's just wait and see. I think he's going to turn over another leaf here and figure it out. No, I'm pretty just out on the shit.
No, but I feel like it has been. I feel like his outlandish behavior at times has been exploited for clicks, and
100%.
And I say that being part of a group that did that, right? Where what he had going on was a very big deal. When he was transferring, I was talking to his brother. I was texting his brother about where was he going to go. I was the one that was getting a lot of the intel back then, and got the connection to his brother through another connection of mine. And it was like, Desanto watch. Where's he going to go? What's he going to do? You know, all these things. People were very interested, you know, from the craziness that went on at NCAAs really sparked a lot of things. And as much as people want to say that we're an accountable sport, a lot of times there's been things that people just kind of allow to happen and don't nip in the bud, right? When they should. So I don't think that to your point, Kevin, I do think that the media has not given them, I guess, a pass, but you know, let's call it what it is. Flo has utilized it to their advantage.
And that's been the dilemma. At some point, it's like, we're kind of hurting this person by putting the spotlight on them when they're not capable of really handling it, you know? So I don't know. I wish I could just be like, man, Desanto's wrestling really well lately, and have that be it, because that's the fact. And it just sucks because it's like, God, like,
kind of the same thing we said about Ferrari.
Yeah, like,
it
whatever.
takes away for all the good things that you're doing when you act like a dick for no reason. Like, what is he getting out of it? Like, what value is there to this behavior? It does. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me.
None, right? Like, I would much rather be talking about how he got a 2-1 win to win this, or the fact that he went virtually, basically unscored upon until that one point he gave up, right? Like, those are the things I'd rather talk about, or his consistency. You know, he has not made a team yet, but he has been consistently one of the contenders for a very long time. But also for a very long time, we're more focused on the cartwheel to the Kimura, or this outlandish thing of yelling stuff at Medlin. So yeah, it's not the first time, and I feel like I'm hopeful that it's the last. I'm hopeful that it is, that we can just talk about Austin Desanto's wrestling and him wrestling like a maniac, and being kind of the original machine gun mindset, to be completely honest, without a trademark.
There's a place for, we talk about it with Ferrari, like, there's a place for a villain and there's a place for a heel and all that, but that's not what this is. That's beyond that, and there's no place for this. There's no reason for for the violent actions that have nothing to do with wrestling. There's no reason to say those things to somebody who, by all accounts, is not doing anything wrong. Like stick to wrestling. If you want to be a villain and push, kind of push the envelope, okay, but that's way beyond the pale.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you guys don't mind, I'll defend my alma mater in Drexel here, because when Desanto left Drexel, they got a bad rap and they can't handle him. He's too good. No workout partners. I'll just say Desanto left not due to his choice. So there were a lot of things behind the scenes that happened and that kept happening, and Drexel just had enough of it. So Desanto was forced to look elsewhere. So I'll just leave it at that. He didn't choose to leave because of workout partners. I think he had a good thing going there. It was a small school. He wasn't in the huge Iowa Hawkeye, media branch, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, he was kind of forced to leave there, and obviously did great things in Iowa. Good for him. But to you guys' point, there were some things that were happening and kept happening, and it's never really held responsible. And he was at Drexel, and he left, and those things started to continue and whatever else. But I'll just leave it at that.
Drexel on the list of accountability. Love it.
One of the teams out there, yeah.
One of them. Accountability. Sorry, gentlemen. I think that's everything. We'll get to our fantasy teams in episode 29. Because that one's going to be mostly about national duels, and we can talk about matchups that are potentially happening and weave our fantasy teams into it as well and call some shots. But I think that's all we got for you crazy people. I think we gave you a lot for episode 28. There was a lot in there.
Yeah, my apologies.
We gave you a lot. Don't worry, I can bleep that out. People won't even know that you said it.
No, that's fine. I'm okay with it.
Remember, we're considered a family show according to Ethan. So
yeah,
I'll say that in front of my family. I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I still might bleep it out, maybe just so people can listen to this in their cars, and not get pulled over. Who knows? We'll see. But
and it's good when we drop the episode, we can say, "See you next Tuesday."
Or Thursday, and we can promote the next episode.
There we go. Promote the next episode.
But no one's gonna know what was bleeped anyway. So it's
yeah. It'll be bleeped. Don't worry. But no, that is everything for episode 28. We gave you movie quotes, we gave you curse words, fashion, and some wrestling in there. Always a good time.
Lessons.
And yes, we gave you plenty. And shout out to Claunch's niece for giving us the real lowdown on if it is ever called pain, and it is not. So
appreciate you, Maya. Love you.
Yeah, thanks, Maya. Appreciate you. And to the rest of the crazies that watch this show, we'll see you guys on Thursday. Peace.